Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a special guest. He's not just a name, he's a legacy. He's not the only, he's, sorry about that, a little nervous today. He's the one and only Black Dragon. So sit back, fire up that engine, and let's ride deep into the world of motorcycle culture, brotherhood, and truth. Because when Black Dragon speaks, the MC world listens. This is Left Lane Chronicles, and remember, keep them twos down.
Welcome, welcome.
There's no music after that?
No, we don't have it's my channel, man.
We not look. We not on your level yet.
Not
We
even
not on your level
Damn.
There's no music? Oh my goodness. Okay.
We not on your level. We gotta get to your level first.
Right.
You know, we gotta sit down with you. So
You
you
said,
can
where's the music? Oh, this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one.
Hold up.
There we go. Oh wait, hold on. You got to be careful of the music you play. You got to only play no royalty music. Or
Yeah,
you get get it decentralized. I got to talk to y'all off the You want to lose your money out. You want to make you a little bit of money. What's going on, young people?
What's up?
Living life, getting to speak to a living legend, So I feel blessed today.
It's just uncomfortable. That's an uncomfortable term, living legend. I'm just out here. You know what I mean? Trying to make it. When people use words like living legend and stuff, for me, that's another word for old. And I try to stay away from that word. Old.
You just season. That's all. You just season.
A little bit, a little season, a little,
I am like 26 years older than this one over here. 26 years older. Holy Jesus.
You don't want to know how old I am then.
How old are you, young man?
I'm 32.
Whew. I've been out here like 3 and 4 decades longer than y'all. So anyway, what can I do for y'all tonight? Thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for agreeing to come on. We got so many questions to ask you. Go ahead, Will.
Oh yeah. So let's start by what got you into being on motorcycles.
First, please, since you're being introduced to my audience as well, who is Left Lane Chronicles and when did y'all? So we'll do some counter interviewing too. Who is Left Lane Chronicles? When did y'all get started? Who are y'all? What are y'all doing? And why should our folks watch y'all?
So Left Lane Chronicles started with myself and my buddy Cutoff. We are 2 Marine Corps veterans, and Cutoff was actually thank you for yours as well. Cutoff was actually inside of a club at one point.
Oh, you mean Cutoff 1%er?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And we started this. We brought Gab aboard, just to add some more depth to our show. And she's done phenomenal. At the moment, Cutoff is away handling some personal matters, but he'll be back, once that's all taken care of. What we pretty much try to bring to the world is what a biking community is, a positive aspect of things, giving everybody's story a chance to be told. So that's pretty much what we try to do, and bring light outside of just their average, like social media content and stuff like that. So that way their audience can get to know more about them. We mostly have on here a lot of them been like YouTubers, big name YouTubers. And as you've seen, we had Logic on here as well. He came and he dropped some real good gems for us, and glad he was even come on and even talk with us for a little bit.
Okay. Cool. Well, you guys can be found at Left Lane Chronicles, folks. Please go and drop by. My folks, please drop by and give them a like, a share, and a subscribe. I'm ready to answer your questions now. Let's get it.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. So, what got you into the motorcycle world?
Oh, the motorcycle world. I was a young boy, about 4. growing up in Huntsville, Alabama at Redstone Arsenal. Now, back then, things were very racist, and the country was going through a whole bunch of changes, kind of like it's going through right now.
Mhm.
And there had been some freedom marches and stuff like that going on, and my mother had been involved in that. So there were people calling the house threatening us. Back then, it was before you could attack somebody on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. The way you could attack people was you would call them and threaten them and hang up. So there were people threatening my mother, and the threats that they had made specifically was threats to my life. We'll kill your black son. Actually, they used the N word. Playing out in the yard, stuff like that. So it was a very topsy turvy time for my family. Everybody was screwed up, and a lot of people were scared. Black folks were getting lynched across the South. All this stuff was going on. And this white biker was driving through the neighborhood. And when he rolled past, I turned and I looked at him and I stared because he was on a motorcycle. And this may have been the first time I had actually like maybe seen one for real. And my mouth was just open. I was just like, so he stops and pulls over, says, "What are you looking at, boy?" And I pointed. "I'm looking at this motorcycle right here." And he said, "Do you like that, boy?" And I was like, "Uh-huh." And he said, "You want to ride, boy?" And my mother had told me don't ride with strangers and stuff, especially since all this was going on. All that was gone out of my mind. When he said, "Do you want to ride?" I was like, "Oh, hell yes, I want to ride." And so he snatched me up, put me on the seat in front of him, and just took off down the road. And I think I could faintly hear my mom running and screaming, "Ja!" And so we were gone, 30, 40 minutes, a long time we were gone, as this guy was winding through the gears and riding me here and there, and I'm just screaming and laughing and having a great time. So when he decides to bring me back home, the police are there, my mom's there, my dad, sergeant in the military, they were all there, and everybody was pissed off. I couldn't figure out why at this biker, and my mom's trying to fight the man with fists. And the police have him, and I mean, it's just an ugly scene. And she screamed. I had a big smile. My mom jerked me off that motorcycle, and she's screaming and hollering. She's trying to beat the man up.
Oh, Lord.
And the police got him all roughed up and stuff, and they're treating him like they treat bikers. And the man looked at me, and he winked, and he looked at my mom, and he said, "He's ours now." And with like an evil laugh. And she snatched me into the house. I never saw that man again, but he was right. I was obsessed with motorcycles from that minute forward. I was obsessed with motorcycles and bicycles and anything that had two wheels. I was obsessed with it. And that's how I got into motorcycling. And from that moment forward, I would not stop pestering my mother until I got one. I can remember, we in when my mom divorced my father, we moved to Oklahoma, and everybody had hay fields and stuff like that, and everybody had mini bikes and stuff like that, and they all had one. I didn't, but I got to ride everybody's, and we would just roll everywhere, man. It was so cool. So that was my introduction into motorcycling.
Hey, that was crazy.
Sorry.
So I guess it's kind of similar to mine. I mean, I didn't get to ride on one's bike, but I like in New York, I would see like Rough Riders pretty often. So for me, it was seeing them zip up and down, the streets. That was my thing, and I always told myself like, you know what, I'm gonna get me one of those one day. And then years later, end up seeing biker boys, and I started seeing everything they was doing in there, and I was like, I'm definitely getting me one. And I started seeing my cousins and all them have bikes, and it was pretty dope. So I say it do take you on from a certain age, and it grabs your attention. I would say. What about you, Gab?
Well, my experience was different. I mean, I saw people on motorcycles, men, majority of the time. I really didn't see a lot of females on bikes. I actually didn't start seeing or have knowledge that there was a lot of women that rode their own bike until I actually became a part of the community. And then I was kind of like, oh, wow, it's women that ride by themselves in big bikes too. So that kind of just piqued my interest in getting the bike that I got now.
Okay. So with that being like your earlier influences and what, so that pretty much drew you to club life, or did it just draw you to
Oh,
the?
no. Club life was completely different. I grew up as an independent biker. I would see the club dudes. I had no desire to deal with those dudes at all. I mean, I didn't know anything about them. They all rode chopper looking things in my neighborhood. They were like all the black dudes had like these chopper things that were mostly like Kawasaki's and Hondas, 1972 chopped up choppers, and it was really cool. But that was not my style of riding. I was riding enduros and mini bikes and dirt bikes, and I had no desire to do that kind of riding. Everybody was structured in a 2x2 and all this old kind of stuff, and I was a kid. I was like, I was dedicated to riding and popping wheelies and jumping stuff, and my
You
whole neighborhood, huh?
were Papa Willie's.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You just
Before
gonna
you
slide
had
past that. Okay.
before you had the kids rolling around the neighborhoods, we rolled around the neighborhoods like that too. We just didn't have no videos of it. But my sisters tell a story. They say that every time they would ride with me, their head would be 2 inches off the cement, and that's how we would roll down the road. My whole neighborhood where I grew up, whenever I go back home to like Northwest 16th Street in Oklahoma City, the people that are still left there always remark, "Oh, that's the wheelie popping kid," and we just knew you were going to die. I would do all kind of stuff, stand up on the the only thing I didn't do that we didn't have back then was stoppies, where you would do the wheelie on the front wheel. Like I never saw that until like Biker Boys. I didn't even know what the hell that was. But man, Evil Knievel was around, and we'd want a wheelie like that. What brought me into club life was when I joined the Navy. 1989, I went to I was stationed at submarine training facility in San Diego, and I was learning how to be a trainer, which is really what I do in the world right now. But I learned all that in the Navy, and I got into trouble on the base when a senior chief told me to clean the bathrooms. And I was in E5, and I was like, I'm not cleaning the bathroom. You need to get an E1 or an E2 to clean the bathrooms. What you got me trying to clean the bathrooms for? Like, I was in the submarine Navy, and we were different. And so in the service Navy, I guess an E5 might do something like that. In the submarine Navy, we were just more qualified. We did a lot more stuff. So I just felt like I was just too good for that. And I told the senior chief I'm not cleaning the heads. And my best friend was like, I'm not cleaning the head. We're not doing that. And so at this point in the Navy, they fire your ass. They send you to mast and they kick you out. But I was a young black kid, and this was a white senior chief, and he could have destroyed my career at that point. I didn't even know. And instead of doing that, he went to a black senior chief and said, "Hey, man, you got to get these guys and square them away, and beat their ass if you have to." But they preferred to square you away inside the Navy tradition rather than throw you out. And I was so glad later to find that guy. So they sent me to a guy by the name of Master Chief George Clark, and Master Chief George Clark, he was the cleanest dude I'd ever seen in my life. In terms of, he wore that white uniform, and he was just clean. And he was in charge of a program, and they sent me to him for him to straighten me and my best friend Keith out, who And man, we went to his office, and I sat back and put my feet up on his desk. You know, I was a submarine sailor and very smart aleck and everything. And I was like, so you're the Uncle Tom they're going to send us to clean us, get us cleaned up. Man, that bro came from behind that desk, and things was ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly. And then after he got through with us, he said, now clean this shit up. And so after we cleaned up everything that had been torn up, he came back in and he said, okay, really what has gone on here is you guys, he should not have asked you guys to clean up the head. But in the Navy, you don't have no choice but to clean it up. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a compromise. You're going to go into the head. You're going to stay there 30 minutes. You're going to come out and you're going to say, Senior Chief, we've cleaned the head. And the Senior Chief is going to go in there and he's going to say, you guys did a great job. And then he's not going to ask you to clean the head anymore. And you're never going to ever talk back to him in any kind of way anymore. And in that way, he saved my whole career. So later on that afternoon, after all that happened, I'm walking and I see him walk out. Now he's in civilian clothes and he gets on a Kawasaki, the one with the bags on the side. What the hell was that thing called? An adventure? Huh?
Was it the Vulcan?
It wasn't the Vulcan. It was the Kawasaki. Oh, I forget what it's called. It has the ZX14 engine, but it sits upright. It's got the bags on it. It was a badass motorcycle at the time. And Two-Wheel Traveler said old school senior NCOs were wild. Yes, they were. They would beat your ass. Thank you, Two-Wheel Traveler. It was a concourse. So I get on he gets on this concourse, and I'm walking past him, and I said, what the hell do you know about motorcycles? Like he's a senior chief in the Navy. Like he was old. He was 30 something, right? He was old. He was probably 36, right? And I was like, Senior Chief, what the hell do you know about motorcycles? He looked at me and he said, son, what do you know about motorcycles? And I'm a rider. I'm a rider. What are you talking about? I'm a rider. And he said, oh yeah? And he said, you're a rider, huh? And he said, I'll tell you what. And back then, you didn't have cell phones or anything. He pulled out a piece of paper and he wrote his address down.
Oh.
And he said, meet me at 4280 Market Street, Saturday at 2 p.m. And so you had to go to a map and look up 4280 Market Street and figure out how to get there. Like, I think the kids of the day would be lost, right? So I said, okay, 4280 Market Street. So I took my best friend Keith Corley with me. And we went to 4280 Market Street Saturday at 2 p.m., which was like the next day. And it was the Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club. And when I got there, here he comes in dungarees, or you might call them Levi's. He was dressed like a civilian with this cut on of a biker club, this clean, beautiful, well-dressed, muscles and ribbons. He had so many ribbons because he had been to Vietnam and all these places. He was a former Marine. He had ribbons just draped down his chest. And all of that was gone. And here was this damn biker in colors. And I was like, wow, this war hero is a biker in a gang? And I walked in and I was like, wow, this is a biker gang house? He said, son, we're called motorcycle clubs, not biker gangs. And this club was so clean, man. It was so cool. It had a bar that went down the whole length of the club. And it was a motorcycle club. It was a fort. All kids like forts. It was a clubhouse. And it was crazy. There were motorcycles everywhere, motorcycles inside, motorcycle parts. There were trophies everywhere. There was booths and tables, and this was their stuff. And then he goes to the door, and there's these two girls that are walking down the street, and he just screamed, "Hey, B words!" And they turned around, and he said, "Hey, B words, you want to make some money? Come dance for my boys." And across the street they walked, and I was like, "You can just, you're a biker, you can just holler at two women."
That's what got you.
You can just holler at two women and say, "Hey, B words." That's, "Hey, bees, come dance for my boys." And across the street they walked. They climbed up on the bar. Some music from the jukebox came on, and they just started stripping. And I was like, I had never seen anything like that in my entire life. The power that these guys had, the confidence that exuded off of them. Now, I'm from Oklahoma and Alabama and stuff like that, and I had seen black men in very subservient roles. And these black men in San Diego were E8 and E9 chiefs and master chiefs and top secret security clearances, and they swaggered, and they were afraid of nothing, and they were warriors and military men with all kinds of medals on their chest and stuff, and some worked for the San Diego Gas and Electric, and and some were welders. They all had like jobs, and they had money, and they had all kinds of motorcycles and stuff, and they were tough. And when they rode around San Diego, like nobody, the citizens and stuff would scream at them. Kids would yell. They were like knights in shining armor riding down the road, and they were right in the hood, and everybody in the hood respected them. And I saw that stuff, man. I was like, this is a whole different level of motorcycling. I gotta do this. I gotta be one of these Black Sabbaths, because it was just the most. They had more power. And I grew up in a house with females. I didn't have any brothers. I wasn't going to meet my brothers until I was 50 before I met my brother. I was 48 years old before I met my brother. So I was 20 something. I had never had any males in my family. I grew up in an all female household, and these were men. They were brothers, and they were tough, and they would punch each other and stuff. Man, I was like, man, I got to be whoever these guys are. I got to be one of them. And that's what brought me into motorcycle clubs.
That's an interesting story. So my bad. I want to know this. What was your first bike?
Oh,
or your first motorcycle?
Honda Trail 50 was my first. Well, that was a mini bike. So we had three wheelers. So it was the Honda 50 big wheeler, 3-wheel thing was the first mechanized thing. And then so the 3-wheeler, you had to counterbalance. I suppose 3-wheelers killed a lot of people, a lot of kids. They didn't kill us though, because you learn how to counterbalance when you turn. So when you turn, you had to drop off on the side like this, almost like a racer on a motorcycle. You had to drop over to turn so you wouldn't flip over with the motorcycle. And I guess somewhere in the 90s or something, they got rid of all 3-wheelers. Like they were just so dangerous. But we grew up with those things. Like the parents were like, go out on the 3-wheeler and die. You'll be all right. So I remember I had a Honda 50 3-wheeler, and then I had a Honda Trail 50, Honda Trail 50cc mini bike. And my first motorcycle was a Yamaha 125 Enduro. And then I got the Kawasaki 125 Enduro, which was twice as fast. And then I just, bikes going up from there. But those were my first bikes were mini bikes. And I had go-karts and, all the toys that you grow up with in rural life. Or somebody else's. If I didn't have one, everybody had those things. So there was plenty to ride. You just needed to be adventurous enough to ride something.
Okay. Oh, we got Logic on. He said, hey.
Hey, what's up, Logic?
So with all this knowledge that you gain and you rolling into, discovering, your club and whatnot, was that like the first club that you looked into and only
Oh
looked
yeah,
into that, or did you shop
yeah.
around
It
as
was the
well?
only club, first club, only club. Like I grew up in Oklahoma City, and there was the Dragons there, and they were the coolest dudes in town. But like they were so much older than I was, and I was like 16, 17, and I would ride with them, and I would race with them. Back then, I had a GS 1100 ES, which was a bad motorcycle, bro. And I was like 16, 17, and I would race those guys, and I would win a lot of races. I was light, I wasn't very heavy, and I had a badass motorcycle. But other than that, they never asked me to come over to, you know, once you race and stuff, and you're trying to win the money and stuff, like you're not friends, you're just trying to race. So they never like reached out and said, hey, why don't you come over? So there were like 3 or 4 or 5 motorcycle clubs on the black side of town, on the east side, and I'd ride past them, but there was never an interest. But Black Sabbath was the first and only motorcycle club. They were the first one I ever ran into, the first club that ever invited me over, the first club that was ever interested in me prospecting. I never looked back. It was like that was the first. I never tried anybody else, looked at anybody else. That was like 1989, and I never ever looked anywhere else. It was just them. I fell in love with that little bitty dinky ass patch they had that was only like this big, and that was it. That was it for me. That was one club. I had so many opportunities to go to so many others over the years, but I just kind of fell there.
Okay. So would you suggest that now, knowing the knowledge that you have now, based off of the protocol that you teach, do you suggest that people shop around whenever they're looking at stuff like that?
So I think it's going to be different for each person. I say stop looking when you feel like you have a home. Now, back then there were 7 clubs in San Diego that I can remember. There was Limited Choice, Black Sabbath, Royal Aces. There was a club called the Cobras, but I think the Cobras were dead about that time. So there was the Highway Kings, which eventually became the Zodiacs, and there was this was before Chosen Few got to San Diego. So there was only like about I think there were 7 clubs. I can only come up with like 4 or 5 in my mind. Oh yeah, there was uh um oh my goodness. I see them. 4 Horsemen. So yeah, so 4 Horsemen, Black Sabbath, Limited Choice, Highway Kings, uh, Royal Aces, and there might have been 1 or 2 more. So there was only like 7 clubs. Now there's like maybe 50 or 60 or 100 there. So with just 7 clubs, like you didn't have a whole bunch of choices. And once a club got you, I did say Zodiacs, didn't I? Once a club got you, they had you like you didn't have all those choices, and clubs weren't thirsty like they are now. Hey man, you don't like your club, man? Hey, that's all right. We got a home for you. Yeah, we got a home. Like you didn't have that kind of stuff going on. You didn't have people off in your ear and stuff and whispering and hey man.
The voice for me, Black Dragon. You know how your voice kind of got like all like, I
Say
just want
what?
to point that out. Your voice, how it changed when you did the like, hey, you're not happy.
Yeah. Because they're always
Gotta get everybody and everything,
Yeah. We got a home for you over here, man.
Oh, shit now.
They didn't do that. They didn't do that back then. Back then, it was like, oh, you're not having a good time at your home? I heard you got your ass put on suspension. Bro, you better get things right over there. If you still want to be on the set, we can't talk to you.
I just say he's trying to be sexy.
We can't holler at you. Back then you had the real horns of righteousness.
Did you see what he just said? He said, "You trying to be sexy?"
He said, "Gonna talk about you tomorrow."
Yeah, we'll hear about this tomorrow.
Oh man,
I'm too finished. So I would say you go where you're comfortable. I say in my mind, there's 4 reasons why you would leave a club, but that's after you get in it. But I have no problem with someone hanging around. That's what the hang around process is for. I never hung around, and maybe if I had hung around some other clubs, I might have chosen differently. But I've just always been a very loyal kind of person. Once they offered me, I never considered anybody else. But I don't have a problem with you hanging around. I don't like club hopping, but I don't have a problem with you hanging around a few clubs to find one that fits you. And now you don't have to hang around so much because everything they're doing is on the internet. Like you can just actually research clubs until the cows come home because it's all now on the internet. Everybody's on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Blue Sky. Everybody's on those now. So you can actually do a whole lot of research and never even meet the club.
What you think is a good hang around period? I know you have we're going to get into it as far as in your book and everything, but what do you think is if you was giving advice to somebody, what you think is a good
the hang around period is from when you start hanging around until they ask you to join.
Okay.
So that's not something you should have a say in. So you either hang around till they ask you to join or until you're like, yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to be asking me. Let me go hang around somewhere else.
Maybe that's it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this time we will be taking a short commercial break.
I don't want to say it again.
This video is brought to you by Eagle Lights, lighting the way for riders who demand clarity and style, and by Bad Boy Cycles, redefining comfort one custom seat at a time. Proud partners in the passion for the open road. This is your boy, Shawil Glide, and remember, keep them twos down, you heard?
All right, and we're back. There we go.
There you go. All right. So speaking of protocol and hanging around and all that good jazz. So, what would you say the purpose and power of MC protocol? What would you say is the purpose of that?
The purpose of MC protocol. Well, the purpose of MC protocol can be found in my new book, Motorcycle Club Protocol 101. And in this book, I talk to everyone that will read it about motorcycle clubs and how they operate and the purpose of MC protocol and all of that. So when you think of MC protocol, you got to think of stuff like parliamentary procedure. And the purpose of parliamentary procedure is so that everybody in a meeting gets a chance to speak. The purpose of MC protocol is for every motorcycle club out there, no matter what its level of in the game. So whether you're a riding club, a motorcycle ministry, a 1% club, an outlaw club, a support club, whatever your lane is, the purpose of MC protocol is to allow all people to navigate the motorcycle club hemisphere safely, unmolested, and happy within their lane. And so a set of rules has evolved that has 2 parts to it. One part is MC protocol that happens within a club. between members, how they interact with each other. And that has a basic MC protocol and a guideline of standard operating procedures called the bylaws. But there is an unwritten MC protocol that happens external to the club, which is not particularly written and is really a little bit different in every area. And it is the protocols and the politics and the handshaking routines that go on between clubs externally. And this protocol is how clubs and the set and the publics and everything is managed external to your club. And the other MC protocol is how you manage your club brothers and sisters internal to the club. And these sets of rules and norms and traditions and guidelines are what allow everyone to go through this life unmolested, no wars, everything is good, and everybody's having fun in a perfect world. That's the purpose of MC protocol.
So if you had any advice to give to like new riders or prospects entering the MC community today, what would that be?
My advice would be you have 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. And so I would say take the time to look, listen, and learn before opening up your mouth and speaking about what you really don't know about. Every society is developed based on things that happened before you got there. And so to be effective at being in a society, you have to know what's going on in it. And it's got to be more than what you believe. See, a belief is something that you believe, but it's not necessarily a fact. It doesn't become a fact until it has been proven, either by a scientific method or through experience or through witnessing something happening. Other than that, it's a theory. It's just something you believe. So you can come in believing that, for instance, you can believe that everybody has a right to do whatever they want and nobody can tell me what I can do. But in the motorcycle club world, it doesn't exist like that. And so your belief can get you hurt because it ain't true.
Yeah.
So I caution people against beliefs. I see people all the way up to the national president level of motorcycle clubs moving based on beliefs and not facts or a serious grip or know-how of something that we call MC protocol or a knowledge of MC protocol. And MC protocol, the purpose of it is so that we can all get along. That's the purpose of MC protocol.
And where can we find your book again, Black Dragon?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Motorcycle Club Protocol 101, available at Amazon and Kindle, and get your autographed copy from blackdragonsgear.com. Be the best motorcycle club person you can be. Get the book.
Oh, you got your music going? Okay. I see you. I'm gonna hype you up, BD.
So speaking about your book, what got you into wanting to write a book? What gave you that itch to want to write a book?
I come from a family of writers. My mother wrote a book. My grandmother wrote a book. My great-grandmother. I come from a family of educators and writers. So every one of my family members had some sort of advanced degree. My mother had her law degree. My grandmother, a degree in education. A lot of my, the old school Black folks in my family, they had degrees from correspondence courses because they couldn't go to universities because that was, it was hard for Black folks to go to universities. So they would just take correspondence courses. So they would have degrees in English, and they would have degrees in literature. They had all these degrees. And matter of fact, my great-great-grandmother had an aeronautical engineering degree, and she was so powerful because when the Army had more airplanes than the Air Force at one time, and maybe they might still. And the Army Air Force, the Army Air folks, Army Air Corps, they were building airplanes. And in Kingfisher, Oklahoma, my great-great-grandmother had this degree, and the military would not give a contract to a place to manufacture if they didn't have this aeronautical engineer. And so from this correspondence college, they reached out to say, hey, do you have any engineers? Because we want to get this contract. And they were like, yeah, there's one in Kingfisher, Oklahoma, which was a black lady, my great great grandmother. And so it was really nasty the way they did her. They said, okay, well, you're not the boss and you're not telling anybody what to do. We have to run all the plans through you. And then once you approve the plans, you take them out to that guy's desk and he'll be the final approver. And then, that's how that works. So they took my grandmother and my great great grandmother, and put her in a closet at the end of the row of all the desks and stuff. They cleaned out a closet and put her in it with a little light above her. They didn't have air conditioner back then. We're talking about Oklahoma. It's 110 degrees out there. And she had to sit in a stifling little room. But they had to pay her the government rate. So what she did in that town was crazy. She built a church. She built a school. She built the family home. So she had a lot of power. She had a car and all this stuff when nobody else did. So I come from a family of writers and educators and teachers. Everybody was a writer. So I was a writer from a very early age. I was probably writing books and stuff at about 5 or 6. And it's just something that never left me. When I joined the military, I would tell stories. I was a storyteller. So we'd be on the mid-watch late at night, 12 a.m. till 6 in the morning, in the control room on the submarine. Everybody's trying not to fall asleep. And they would say, Bunch, tell us a story. So I would tell a story that would last 6 hours long. And the crazy thing about it is the next day they would want me to finish the story, but they would remember parts of the story. And they'd go back, well, you didn't say it that way last time. And and then I would write letters, love letters for my submarine brothers, because their wives might want to leave them or whatever. And I'd write them a love letter, and their wives would come back to them and stuff. So I was writing in the military, getting paid. I was writing people's turn papers for athletes and stuff in college. It was $100 a turn paper. You were guaranteed an A or better.
Are you still writing? Because I'm going back to school. So I'm gonna message you on that.
I don't. Boy, it'd be about $500-$600 a term paper now. I got it. You were guaranteed an A-. If I wrote your term paper, you were guaranteed an A-. And my fiance at the time, her little brother Sean, that guy would line up the athletes, bro. And we had a little gig going, man. So that's what got me into writing. So one day I was disappointed that there weren't any black models in Easy Rider. And the father of the Black Sabbath Nation, I went to him complaining, like, I said, all we have is models of women with alcohol. That's the only pictures we have in our clubhouse. And he said, yeah, because the only people that take pictures of black models are the alcohol companies, and we want black models on the walls. And I said, well, why doesn't Easy Rider put our women on things so we could have women on motorcycles? And, I was mad. Why don't they do that? And he says, ain't you a writer? Aren't you a photographer? Don't you take pictures? Don't you know how to write? What do you need them? Who the hell is they? What do you need them for? Make your own fucking magazine. And that's when Black Iron Motorcycle Magazine was born. So that's how I got really into writing motorcycle stuff, was from the father of the Black Sabbath Nation challenging me to stop bitching and moaning and complaining about not having, about somebody else not putting in the black women in the magazine. So I did it myself. And that was my first successful publication. And I went from there to writing stuff about motorcycle clubs and on to where we are now. I even got a chance to work on a movie, so it was really cool.
That's dope. You created your own lane.
I created my own lane.
For those who don't know what that movie is, can you let the masses know?
Biker Boys. I got to work on Biker Boys. It was really cool.
Do you see yourself writing a future movie anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm working on a project that it's supposed to be a graphic novel, and I've just had a hard time getting an artist. But it started out the Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club versus the Walking Dead, and it just amazing. And I would like to see that turned into a movie. I've written 2 or 3 other biker movies, but my most favorite genre is zombie movies. And I got this motorcycle club fighting zombies, and that's what it started out to be. And I don't know what it'll be now, but it'll be some. And I've got the whole thing. I wrote the first treaty and everything, and that's going to be exciting for me. And I hope
might
that,
be happy with an artist. I know an artist.
yeah, I need an artist so bad, but man, bro, yeah, and I get to be who I want to be. Like I'm gonna kill people. Like I get to be like, evil to ex-girlfriends and stuff. And there are people like in my motorcycle club that I don't like. So I'm gonna write them in a story, and then I get to kill them in delicious ways. Like, oh yeah, that guy was a traitor. and zombies ate his ass. And then ex-girlfriends is going to be like, oh, she left me. I'm going to write the story. She left me and broke my heart. Oh, Cassandra. Wow. Funny seeing you in the apocalypse. You want some food? You're hungry. You're hungry, are you? Okay. So I get to just be evil. I get to just be evil.
I feel like that'll make like I feel like that'll make like a great like anime style.
Yeah.
Adult anime style TV show.
I know you got some Michael Jackson over there. We can't play it. We don't want to get copyright, but I would play it if I
could. So yeah, I can't. Yeah, I've got some. Luckily for me, I've got so many book projects on the thing. I can't even write the stuff fast enough, and I'm so fortunate that people. I'm so fortunate that people that will read my books and support my books and buy them. I got people that have bought every book I have ever written. They'll just buy every single book, and people are buying the books and sending them to their friends and stuff like that. It's just a very fortunate blessing that I've had.
See, and look, you even got your first possible cast member right here, Two-Wheel Traveler. See, look at that. He said,
yeah, see, look at that. A post-apocalyptic film following MCs would be dope, man. Yeah, man. Because our whole way that we would do things would be so cool,
So, I guess David wants to know about your favorite dogs
throughout
your life.
Oh man, my life has been filled with dogs my whole entire life. Like this one right here. That's when I start screaming. Come here. When I start screaming, he's
you money.
Huh? Oh yeah.
When I cost you money.
Yes, buddy. The $2,500 the two of them cost me when they first met and got into a fight, and then this one fell out of the car at 40 miles an hour, and I had a beautiful dog with no scars on him, and now his ass has got a surgery scar on his back hind quarter, and just everything. But my first dog that I can remember was Fifi. She was a poodle that we had when I was about 4. And then I had my first German Shepherd from the time I was about 6 to 12, and his name was Rex. And then I had Tadashi Yamashito 1, Tadashi Yamashito 2, Lone Wolf, Sun Cleat.
Hot dogs don't count.
Oh God. And then I had several little dogs. And then of course there was Braveheart. There was Hope, Magda, Charity, Warrigal, Mighty Dog of Dogs, the benevolent, great, magnificent conqueror, the lion-hearted bunch, the first conquering dog of the tribe of Judah, elect of God. That was her whole name. And she was amazing. Rode a motorcycle. The whole Atlanta bike set knew her. And then there was Braveheart. Oh my goodness. And then there's Tank, and there's Brutus, and yeah, my whole life has been peppered with dogs. I've always had dogs all my life.
So I got to ask this question because I feel like if not, logic is probably going to fly through the screen. since you
Yeah.
mentioned this. So, do you think the process of getting members has changed, and do you think advertising is now okay?
Yes, I think it has changed. And good and bad. Like I say, back in the old days, you were stuck to a club, and if you were in a 1% club, that was it. You had to have an act of Congress to leave 1% club and go to another.
Mhm.
And on some very limited basis, they might let you leave a 1% club and go to a 99% club. But it would have to be one like maybe a support club or a brother club or something like that they knew. It would be very, very difficult for you to move, and if you were in a 1% club and you got out, and after you gave them your motorcycle and paid your get out fee, that was it. You were done. And we don't see that anymore. And there was a time where motorcycle clubs didn't say, "Hey man, I got a home for you over here.
Look
If
at
you
that
need,
voice again.
yeah, we got a home for you, bro. We got
Lodge,
something."
you doing it again.
They didn't
Not
do it
Logic,
like
you doing
that.
Boy,
it
good
again.
boy.
I'm just saying, right? So now it is, you'll be in a club and people will be like, "Hey man, I got a home for you," and stuff like that. So the way that they go about it, like they're shisty, like they don't give a damn. People and even the 1% clubs, they switching out 1%er was a this 1%er this time, this 1%er that time, this 1%. Like, damn, bro, you just dropped 9 1%er clubs. Wow. So that has all changed. It's not the same. And a lot of it is because clubs had so much power back then. Um, Clubs had more power than they have now. People have more options. They overused the out bad thing, overused it, and overplayed it, and now nobody believes you. They don't believe the club when the club says out bad. Most people look at the club like, "Yeah, really, what bullshit? What was it?" Because there used to be only 2 or 3 or 4 things that would get you put out bad. Now people are out bad because you pissed off such and such as wife or whatever the case may be. So no, people don't even believe it. They don't even buy it anymore. So all the power clubs had to squash people and put thumbs on people and control people, those institutions have lost a lot of that power. So, yeah, it's changed. And I think that's a good thing and a bad thing. And I do believe it's the time for recruiting over the internet because the internet is how we communicate. It would be just like saying, well, you can't communicate, you can't recruit on the phone when cell phones came out. I always tell the story like, what did the guy do when he was sending smoke signals and some guy came out and said, "Hey man, we're drumming." "Well, I'm not drumming. I'm not going to do no drums. I'm sending smoke signals, bro. That's what we do. We send smoke signals." "All right, well, you won't be sending smoke signals at night and you won't be sending them in the rain, but we'll still be drumming and our army will be there and yours won't because they didn't see the smoke signal." So, when people went to carrier pigeons and carrier pigeons could carry stuff when the drums couldn't be heard, and then you had the telegraph and the teletype and all these things. When communication changes, people adapt to the new change in that communication, and that's what they use. And social media is what they use today. They're not going to use it forever, but maybe the next 20, 30, 50 years. Social media is what they use today. This is the medium. And you can put together a viral something and it goes out and hits several 100,000 people. I just did a video and it hit several 100,000 people. And that's power. You can talk to 2 or 3 million people. Why not recruit? So we're watching, like we're seeing Satan's Choice do a lot of recruiting on the internet, and people can hate and be mad. That guy has put together a nation in no time. Like the 15 years it took me, he's done in 15 months. Damn, that's crazy. So no, I'm not mad at it. I think if I were to start a club today, I would absolutely use my whole Black Dragon biker TV and persona and all that. And hey, this is Black Dragon. You want to be in a motorcycle club? Spirit decorum, riding, acting like, and being part of a family? Then you should join us. You should be with us, and we will do it together. You and me and us. Yeah.
They ready to sign up now.
So I hate to do this, everyone, 'cause I know we all enjoyed this time. But before we get out of here, I just want to ask BD, do you have anything left that you want to leave with the viewers, new riders, seasoned riders?
Yeah. Try to treat everyone in your sphere. Try to treat everyone like a solid piece of gold. Don't be a sellout. Don't be a backstabber. Don't be a liar. Don't be a dirtbag. In the motorcycle club, we try to to espouse the highest uh, ideals, the highest qualities. Like they used to say in the Navy and the Marine Corps, this person expresses the highest traditions uh, of our organization. Try to espouse and express the highest traditions of being a good brother. Like it takes time, it takes practice to be like a good Christian or a good Muslim or a good Jewish person. It takes time, it takes practice. You have to study the texts. You have to really work at it to try to get closer to whoever God is for you. The motorcycle club is a family that's a part of you that you want to be in forever. You need to find you some texts, which should start with your bylaws, and understand what is going on and what it is that the club is trying to be, and the greatest values and norms and traditions of that club, the standard operating procedures, and espouse them, express them, live them, and share them with others. And if you can find a way to treat somebody in your motorcycle club like a precious piece of solid gold, your motorcycle career and your motorcycle club family will be dear to you. And always remember that you don't do things for people to be thankful. My mother always told me people are not thankful. You do things because they're right. And even if they do you wrong, you can always, always go to sleep with the knowledge that you made things better after you left than they were before you got there. You know what I mean? Capiche?
Capiche?
Hey, I feel that. Yeah, what about you? You got anything before we?
No, I'm just really glad that you came on, Black Dragon. Thank you for taking your time to sit in the left lane with us and share your knowledge, and y'all support him. Obviously, y'all already know about him and his book and everything, but we just really thank you for taking the time to come and talk with us.
I appreciate you young people having me on. You guys have such amazing motorcycle club careers and biking careers and stuff ahead of you. I'm proud of you. You know you're getting out there on your motorcycle and showing up at the Harley Davidson dealers and chatting with people and everything. It takes a lot of courage to put your stuff out there and be at a Harley Davidson dealer, because they're not always the most welcoming folks. And to be over there and have them and to do everything it takes to go sit up and talk and meet with women and bikers and talk to them about your experiences. Man, that's not anything I ever thought of when I was you guys' ages. So, man, it's cool to see what y'all are doing and what the new uh, upcoming podcasters are going to be. I'm really excited for you all, man, and I'm wishing the best for you, my young 30-year-olds. Man, do y'all's thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So everyone, thank you for tuning in to Left Lane Chronicles. This is your boy Shawil Glide with Just Gab and the legendary Black Dragon himself. Reminding y'all, keep the culture strong, stay true to the code, and always keep them twos down. We out.
We out.
We out.